freaking love it, man. They have finally, XS Sights has finally made the lever rail for the Henry. I've been running one of these illegitimately for a while. I took the Marlin lever rail, put it on the Henry. Now, XS Sights is making one purpose built. Let's look at this thing.
And boom, there it is. Actually, I don't know what I was thinking. Let me take these 2 rounds out of that Ranger Point quiver so that you can get a better look at it. Man, that is nice. The fit and finish of it is really nice. The machining is clean. I'm digging it. Of course, in the intro, when I said that I was running the Marlin rail on the Henry, over a year ago, I had mounted the Marlin rail, and it didn't fit exactly right, but all I was looking for was a nice straight edge and plenty of real estate to test optics on. So that's what I did. I made a couple of videos telling you guys that to email XS and tell them that you want the Henry lever rail, and I think you might have gotten the point across. I'm not saying I was the only influence, but when XS, when they developed this kit, they emailed me and they said, "Hey Pat, I'm sure you want one." And I'm like, yeah. So yeah, this is what we've wound up with, is a purpose-built kit. Of course, this is on the Henry X 4570. You can have the big boy or the all-weather 4570s from Henry. So this will fit more than one. Basically, your rail, this rail comes in a kit by itself. So all you have to do is get the rail, and it's actually really reasonably priced for what it is. Now, if you want to run the irons, then that's a separate kit. And the irons come, you have one kit that is a screw-on front sight. Of course, the Henry X is a screw-on, and your other models are dovetails. So they have 2 different kits. So you'll either order the screw-on or the dovetail kit and get your ghost ring with it. And I'll cover more on that ghost ring here in a little bit. And now XS does have their own video for covering the installation on this. They have got a really good video that covers all the bases, because basically this front sight, this screw-in front sight, with it being in the barrel of this, you don't have a lot of metal. I mean, it's solid, it's locked down solid, but you don't have a lot of metal. So when you go driving this dovetail front sight in, you really don't want to shear off the screw. And of course, with the Henry, with you having the magazine tube right here too, that's a dovetail. So if you don't have this properly supported, you'll drive your dovetail out, drive your mag tube over. You can possibly strip out the screw here. So that video will be in the link below. That way you guys don't make that mistake. Mine was pretty straightforward because I watched the video and it went well. Now, of course, I took this thing out and sighted it in. I took it to my local shooting range and had a really good time getting this rear ghost ring adjusted and getting this thing sighted in. It's a really neat system. I mean, it feels solid as concrete. And the way that they've done it, for as much as it does, it's pretty simple. So what you wind up getting in the kit is you get a small ghost ring and a large ghost ring. Now these ghost rings, they have flats machined on either side of them, and that way it stays oriented and it'll only turn 180 degrees, because if this thing turns sideways, you can't look through it. And basically that is taken care of by these 2 screws. There's one, and here's the other. Now those screws oppose each other, and basically they keep this flat, like I said, they keep it oriented, and then you have a little carriage riding in this dovetail. So let's say that at 50 yards, let's see, when I started, I got it on paper at 50 yards, and then you can see one bullet hole, then I made a tweak, the other bullet hole, then I made a tweak, then the other bullet hole. So you can see where that windage kept working. And basically the way that you do it, let's say that you need to correct, and we want this thing to go that way. So if you want the carriage to go this way, then you'll loosen this screw first. That'll take the slack out. Then you'll take, and of course, with the appropriate size screwdriver, a little flathead, then you'll torque this one down. When you tighten that one, it'll push that carriage over, and of course, they just sandwich it, lock it down. Now, I am going to wind up putting my LPVO back on here, but you can see it's just a flathead, right? So let's say I have an optic failure when I'm out in the field. All I'm going to do is keep an Allen key that way I can take my scope rings off, and then a flathead. Just put all that in a little baggie, and this thing will go right back on there. The way that it's got a pocket That pocket is in there pretty solid. There's a little stud back here too. I am really sure that if my main optic breaks, this will go back on and my Zero will be close enough for government work. Definitely liking this setup. Really solid. And of course, you can see I've got my Silencer Co. Hybrid 46 on here. And XS really checked off one of my big requests. Because if I am running an optic or a suppressor, I want to be able to see over the top of that suppressor. With that being a flat edge, that straight edge there, you can see that my line of sight is clean over that suppressor. So as for target identification and all that, you are not going to have a problem seeing right over the top of that can. I really like that. It looks like XS has checked off all of the necessities. I mean, it is awesome. Really like this kit.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at the XS Sights Henry lever rail. I know I'm tickled to death with it. I feel like the rifle has pretty much gotten to where I want it. I'm definitely liking all the improvements that I've made with it. And I'm going to go ahead and do a summary video, sum up the whole thing, and show you a couple of adventures I've had with it. But anyway, I also want to thank my Patreon. Those Patreon supporters are awesome. They help pay for some of today's ammo. I want to thank the guys that are going to the Linktree link below. We've made the first $10 off of that. And hey, every little bit helps. But anyway, hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you next video. I love you.